Hey everyone, today we're testing out Horizon Forbidden West on the ABXYLUTE 3D1 connected to my eGPU, which is the morefine G1 with the NVIDIA 4080M. We'll be using Depth 3D to get our side-by-side image, and that should give us native 3D mode when we toggle the switch. For our settings, we're at 1600p with very high settings, DLSS turned off, as well as frame generation turned off. Before we enable 3D mode, I wanted to give you guys a baseline of what to expect here with our side-by-side image, and we seem to be somewhere in the mid-30s to up to 40 FPS. Now with the 3D mode enabled, it really didn't make a difference. Like we seem to be at roughly the same frame rate, and with these settings with very high DLSS off and 1600p, it's a pretty decent image. Like you have an incredible level of detail and it's running fairly smooth. You can turn down the graphics settings to boost your FPS a little bit, but for this test, I've just stuck to keeping it at high settings so you can kind of get an idea of how much of a boost you're getting with this eGPU. Staying at the same settings and trying out 2D mode, the performance actually isn't all that different. Like we're getting about 50 FPS, so we've got roughly a 5 to 10 FPS jump here, which is kind of surprising. But I think what's different with this game compared to some of the other ones we've tested is that if you take a look at the CPU usage, it's quite a bit lower. Like we're nowhere near 100% like we saw with Cyberpunk and a few other games that I've tested. So that seems to be the big difference here on how smooth 3D mode can run. Now we'll change things up and we're going to set DLSS to quality and see what kind of difference it makes. And surprisingly, it really doesn't seem to make any difference. Like we were getting roughly in the mid 40s before. We might be getting maybe like 2 or 3 extra FPS here in this area, but not really anything really worth noting. Next, we're going to try things with frame generation just to see how it runs and how it looks. So when we turn on frame generation, this does seem to make quite a bit of a difference. Now we're in the mid 70s, sometimes up to 80 FPS. I did find that this seemed to be the best way to play the game. I had DLSS set to quality, but we probably could have just turned that off and just went with the frame generation. So if you're looking to play this game on the 3D one with a 4080M eGPU like the morefine G1, you're going to have a pretty decent experience with 3D. 2D gaming is going to be great because you're going to have your settings maxed out and you're still going to get, roughly 70 to 80 FPS if you're using frame generation. One note for the eGPU connection here is my morefine G1 with the 4080M seemed to connect perfectly fine to the ABXYLUTE 3D1. One thing though is that my 1X GPU 2 that has the AMD 7800M was not connecting to the device. I'm not sure why, and it's going to take some more testing to figure out. But you may want to keep that in mind that not all eGPUs are necessarily going to be compatible. If you want to learn more about the ABXYLUTE 3D1, check out the early impressions review on my main channel, Okayest Gamer. I'll leave a link at the end of this video. If you're also curious about other performance tests on this device, check out the other videos on the Okayish Gamer channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this short video and thank you for watching.